The Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
Tonight on Fox 61, extremely cold temperatures are here, and it could be record-breaking. That's why we begin with a weather impact alert. Thank you so much for joining us after the game. I'm Annette Montgomery. Now, although we will see some dangerous cold temps, the good news is some relief is on the way later down the road. Meteorologist Sam Samperi is here with the first check of the forecast. Sam.
Annette, you're teasing it too soon. we do have to get through the weekend, and then we have that good news for next week. But before we get there, we have a cold weather advisory until 10 a.m. Wind chill values down there 20 below. Of course, you know, you're hunkered down, home, bundled up underneath those blankets. Look at these temperatures now. We're down to 6, Torrington 8, Windsor Locks 11, New Haven 12, Bridgeport. So when you look at these temperatures, you're thinking, well, how the heck are we going to break these records? See, the wind is still cranking, so as long as it's cranking, we won't drop those temperatures off too bad. But after midnight and towards tomorrow morning, the winds will diminish a bit. Wind chills down to 11 below, 1 below Chester, 8 below Waterbury. So bitter cold tonight. Lows down near 10 below. Actually, there's going to be some towns that are going to be down to 15 below. This says 4. I do think that we could have a chance to get down below 2 degrees, which would be the record for Bridgeport. And there's your wind chill for the morning time, and there's temperatures upper teens to lower 20s. Well, what about this storm? Look, it's already developing. Look at the snow starting to break out, and both these systems are going to merge into a bomb off the coast. I'll talk about this, where it's going. I have some new information coming into the Weather Center, and all the details coming up in a few minutes. And that.
Thank you, Sam. And because of those cold temps, don't forget the state's cold weather protocol is in effect until Thursday of next week. That means you can contact 211 for information like locations of shelters, warming centers, and transportation to those locations. Now, we have been checking in with Hartford Mayor Arunan Arulampalam's office about snow removal after last weekend's record-breaking storm. The mayor says crews have cleared at least 17 million pounds of snow so far. And take a listen to what else he had to say.
As many of you have noted, we were not able to plow all the way to the curb. And the issue was because the snow was coming so fast and because there's so much of it, we wanted to make sure that people could at least get out of every single street. And if there are issues on your street, please know we haven't forgotten about you. We are still working towards that.
And the city says it has brought in 53 plow trucks and more than 100 workers who are now working 16-hour shifts. We are also following breaking news. Right now, a search is underway for multiple fishermen after a commercial fishing vessel sank off the coast of Massachusetts. The 72-foot Lily Jean went down earlier today with 7 people on board. Right now, the Coast Guard is searching for survivors and has found a debris field and one body about 25 miles off Cape Ann. High winds and freezing temperatures are making the search dangerous. We also know the vessel's captain, Gus Sanfilippo, a fifth-generation fisherman from Gloucester, a town with a long history of nautical tragedies. And also developing tonight, the Office of Health Strategy has approved Yukon Health's affiliate to take over Waterbury Hospital. It's a deal that's set to secure a more stable future for patients after Prospect Medical's bankruptcy. Fox 61 Stefan Reels is here to break down the details of that deal. Stefan.
Yeah, Annette, this has been a long time coming for the community, and in this report, Prospect Medical had declared this was a bankruptcy that happened a year ago, but this report also said that the future of the Waterbury Hospital actually was uncertain, and had this deal not gone through, OHS says that Waterbury Hospital would have likely closed. But this just became that was just because, I should say, of how much financial distress it was in. But this deal overall is $13 million, but another $212 million will be invested into the Waterbury Health System over the next 2 to 3 years. Yukon Health has a team to help with this transition and help improve the current conditions at the hospital, and that includes the current C rating and safety the hospital currently has from the Leapfrog Group. Another point is to make sure the hospital plumbing, elevators, and electronic record systems are modernized in the next year to a year and a half. But within the next 9 months, OHS says it will need to see an assessment on the current conditions of the hospital and a strategic integration plan. And also within the next year, UConn Health will need to have at least one public meeting to see what the community wants to see from the hospital. But as part of this deal, OHS says UConn can't get rid of any service from the hospital for the next 3 years. But overall, they say this deal will help control costs and involve the community in the planning process. And Governor Ned Lamont, he said that this deal will lead to a stronger, brighter future for the Waterbury community. Annette?
Thanks so much, Stefan. A lot of helpful information. Well, right now, the time is 10:46, and you're getting a live look at Washington, D.C., where earlier today the Senate approved funding for most of the government through September. Now, this comes after President Trump reached a rare deal with Democrats to carve out Homeland Security funding. This agreement comes as lawmakers now debate new rules for federal immigration raids following the deaths of 2 protesters in Minneapolis. The bill now heads to the House. Now, during the last government shutdown this past fall that lasted 43 days, which was also the longest shutdown in history, we of course saw some impacts to travel. So today we checked in with passengers at Bradley International Airport like Iris Kennedy to get their reaction to the news that we might see another one.
But I'm actually flying to DC, so that's where I guess we'll be shut down central. So I'm always a little afraid of like, am I going to be stranded and not be able to come back? And like, I gotta come back and do my work. So we'll see. That's my just initial thought, is I probably won't be as bad as the previous one.
And keep in mind, the House is not expected to return to Washington, D.C. until Monday, which means a partial shutdown is likely, at least for a few days. And take a look there tonight. Our D.C. sister station will have a live special report on the government shutdown starting at 11:30 p.m. That special report will include anchored coverage and special guests. If you would like to watch, you can tune in to Fox 61 Plus. You can download it on your TV now and watch for free. ICE out protests have taken the country by storm, including right here in Connecticut. Now people are pushing back against federal agents popping up in their communities. New tonight at 10, Fox 61's Tim Lateau is in New London and shares what local community organizers want you to know.
Dozens gathered here outside New London City Hall to protest ICE and the federal government, which forced police to block off the street as the crowd grew.
I think the moderate position is abolishing ICE.
Local immigrant advocate and democratic organizations came together Friday night to call for an end of funding to ICE and to remember the victims that died during interactions with agents and in ICE custody.
The escalation of their brutality against civilians and non-citizens and everything, the rampant detention centers, this protest is kind of just a capitulation of that.
The protest on the steps of City Hall grew and spilled out into State Street and remained peaceful with loud chanting. Organizers urged communities across Connecticut to remain calm but to be ready in case ICE comes to the state en masse, as agents have in other Democrat-led cities.
I'm not here to spread any type of fear. I think that we need to be vigilant, and I think that we need to prepare. That's one of our biggest tasks in New London, is to prepare. If ICE does come to New London, a community can respond effectively.
And there is another ICE out event being planned in the New London area for next weekend. We'll have more information on that on our website at fox61.com. In New London, Tim Lateau, Fox 61.
A major cyber attack is now under investigation over in New Britain. For the first time since Wednesday's attack, city leaders shared what has been going on for the past 2 days and a look inside their investigation so far. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson has answers on the type of cyber attack it was and what it means for those who live in the city.
New Britain officials confirmed that the city was the victim of a ransomware attack, and now there's a large-scale investigation going on involving the FBI and state agencies to try to recover information and get compromised systems back online. A network disruption is how city officials describe the attack on New Britain Police Department. After an initial investigation, Mayor Bobby Sanchez says the city found out it was a ransomware attack that had taken multiple city systems offline.
The city is actively engaged in both investigating the incident and recovering affected systems. As part of this ongoing investigation, we are working to determine which portions of the city's network infrastructure were impacted.
While they couldn't specify what types of systems have been taken offline, officials did say all emergency response services remain operational and response times will continue as normal. Fire Chief Raul Ortiz explained how their first responder contingency plan has helped keep emergency services up and running.
We have backup plans and redundancy plans, manual redundancy plans for situations just like this, so that we can minimize the impact that it's having to our emergency services. And I want to reassure our residents that they have full confidence in calling 911.
Frederick Scholl, who teaches in the cybersecurity degree program at Quinnipiac University, says it doesn't come as a surprise to him that small cities like New Britain are being targeted.
Hackers have changed they're not looking for the largest victims. They're looking for small and medium-sized organizations that have a lot of confidential information, like a city government, but don't necessarily have, a lot of funding to be prepared for that.
Scholl says, according to state breach reports, 98% of breaches involve small businesses and organizations. Scholl says it's hard to defend against these attacks, but having contingency plans is the best way to minimize the impact.
That's the idea, to have a lot of internal firewalls so that, you're going to get attacked. There's nothing you can do about it, but you need to limit the blast radius, as they say, make sure that attackers can't move from one part of the organization to another.
Mayor Sanchez did not share if the city paid the ransom payment or not, saying that sharing that information could jeopardize the investigation. He says that he anticipates more systems coming back online this weekend and into next week. In New Britain, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
New tonight, a New Haven jury has found a man guilty in a deadly shooting back in 2017. Prosecutors say 35-year-old Trayvon Battle shot two men on Dickerman Street. They say Battle killed 27-year-old Norman Boone and seriously injured Garion Suggs. Battle was convicted of murder, first-degree assault, and multiple gun charges. His sentencing is scheduled for April 7th.